Back in 1998, we got a game known as Thief the Dark Project, and then in 2000, we got Thief 2 the Metal Age. But back in 1994, we got a game known as System Shock, and this game is one of the most influential games of history of all time when it came to video game history, amongst on PC or on console, but especially on PC, System Shock was no exception. This game basically birthed what we know now as called immersive sims. Now let's fast forward a little bit here. In 2024, we finally got the System Shock remake for the very first time on consoles other than being on PC. So, what I really want to talk about this game in general, on my first initial impressions on this game, after playing only for 2 hours, I would have to say that this game is magnificently well done. I'm going to be talking some of the systems and the mechanics of this game to a certain type of degree, but first and foremost, I want to talk about the tonality of this game and why I think that this game not only fits for consoles or on PC, but as a whole, what this game really generated as a huge success on the PC platform back in 1994. However, when it comes to System Shock, other than it being that of a first-person shooter, this game is very tactical when it comes to its core gameplay mechanics and utilizing a certain type of degree of what the tonality of this game really pertains. I think when it came to the original System Shock, other than not playing it, but having playing the remake for this game on console for the very first time, it goes to show you of how fantastic and truly how this game really came to be. I think when it came to having Night Dive Studios basically doing the helm, Prime Matter actually is the subsidiary to that of Night Dive Studios. They did a fantastic job with this port, especially on consoles other than on PC. And what I've greatly noticed that it's the tonality of what this game does, and it's the way how this game really utilizes the gameplay systems and the structure, and what this game really does a magnificent job well on. It goes back to what the first BioShock was able to use and pertain, much like Prey 2017 or any other games of this type of ilk, much like Dishonored. This game utilizes of the environmental storytelling of using audio logs. And I think that's where this game really does an excellent job with its environmental storytelling as well, along with the audio log system. This is where this game really shows off the fidelity of this game and venturing it off into more other titles that we've already have had in the past previous years, much like Prey 2017, BioShock, System Shock 2, and others. And it's understandably the reason why I think that why this game is so heavily popular is because it's not just because of what I previously mentioned. It has to do with what this game really does and shows off where the storytelling is really greatly appreciated. I think when it comes to games like this, it's magnificent and magnanimous to how far this game has come, and having a remake, especially on console, even though on PC as well, it just goes to show you that Night Dive Studios has done it again. And my impressions on this video is going to be, it's going to be fairly different from other videos that I have had put out, because I think the reason why this game is so heavily influenced as to the games that we've already have had in the previous years or previous past is that, this game is by far the fulcrum and the most influential games of all time, and it's greatly so, because I love the fact that what this game really provides and what Prime Matter was actually able to do for this game and bringing it to life on a brand new engine. Because initially this game, the System Shock remake, was supposed to be it was supposed to basically drive onto the Unity engine. But they decided, nope, if we were going to do this from the ground up, which this is, they actually ended up going to the Unreal Engine 4 to utilize the systems of this game and provide a better tonality to this game in general. And basically, this game takes place on the Citadel, and there's an enemy known as Shodan, which we already know and we absolutely loved from 1994's iteration of the same name in the same game. But what makes this remake so heavily influential from what the 1994 iteration of the same game as it is, it's the fact that this game, it's not because of its environmental storytelling. It's the fact of what this game really does perfectly, in my personal opinion. I do have some a little bit small gripes to this game, but however, this game really shows off the fidelity of what a game should look like of that on a PC or on consoles. And what I mean by that is that I think that this game makes a really good perfect fit on the PS5, other than Xbox Series X or S, or on PC. But mind you, I think that this game really shows off why this game was the most important and the most pinnacle game of a century. And I think that's where this game really it really shows off a lot of really good promising systems. I love the gameplay mechanics. One thing that I will mention when it comes to the cons of this game is that there is a little bit of inventory management involved. Yes, you heard me correctly. But other than that, I think that it really shows off. This game really shows off a really good sense of certainty as to why this game was so heavily influential and where the storytelling really takes place, not just by utilizing the audio log system, but it's the environment. And each of the structure of the citadel that I was able to go through in a matter of 2 hours, it's astounding. And I'm so. It's the reason why I love making these videos. I love talking about the mechanics of the systems that these games provide, and why I think that this game, it's utterly beautiful, and in a way it's grotesque, it's dark, it's cathartic, it's a little foreboding, but that's what makes this game so great. And it's the fact that there is a heavily influential of role-playing elements, because you do have to do certain things to survive. You cannot just always rely on melee weapons. I've noticed that as well. You do get, however, numerous different types of weapons as well. You do get like some sort of type of plasma gun or something like that. Similar to that of what I would say Halo does to a certain degree. But it's very interesting how these weapons in this System Shock remake really fall under line of how fluid this game really is. And that's one thing I greatly impressed with, is that this game is very fluid when it comes to its combat systems. That's one thing I think that's one thing that this game really provides and utilizes pretty well. I'm very impressed of what Night Dive Studios and Prime Matter were able to really do for this game, for this new generation of hardware, whether if you're on PC or on consoles, and it's fascinating. And so I think when it comes to the core structure and the system that this game really provides, is that it's the way of each part of a certain type of level of this game that shows off its color tonality, and the way how each part of the level in this game shows off a really unique way of what the environment should look like. And like I said, it's cathartic. It's very interesting of how far a remake can go. And I think what's really greatly to know is that I am very impressed of this remake, because like I said, I have played a little bit of the original, but I think that's where this remake really falls under line as to where what the original game was able to use and pertain to it, and how it was basically the pinnacle of what that game was. It was more of it's not like what the remake does to a certain degree, because it was more tactical than anything else. But this remake of the same game is tactical, but you do have to be careful with, like I said, with the inventory management system, much like the original game. Like I said, you do get different types of weapons, which is really cool as well. But here's another thing that I really want to discuss, is this game really shows off I love the audio fidelity in this game. I think that when it comes to audio, specifically in gaming in general or in games in general, is that sometimes audio is not always going to be working the best to a certain degree when it comes to a certain type of structure of the game, much like the Citadel and the System Shock remake. And what I will say is that the audio really synchronizes itself fairly well within each part of the game, and that's where the environmental storytelling comes into play. And that's one thing that this remake does awesomely. I don't know even that if that's a word, but point being, I really think by playing this game for the very first time in a much better format. I mean, to my understanding, that the original format of this game back in 1994 has not aged well. I have seen gameplay on the original, and while I have not played the original before, maybe a little bit, but not too much of it, but again, I understand as to why this game was heavily critically acclaimed is because it's everything what I've already previously mentioned, and it's fantastic. And so I really think that when it comes to this remake as well, is it's what this game really does. It's everything of what I truly expected from a game like this, because I am so used to like playing Prey 2017. I have played BioShock. I have played other games that are very much similar to what the System Shock remake was able to provide me. And I think that this game has exceeded my expectations. I am inspired and very awestruck of how good this game really is. And it's the fact that what you really have to achieve in order to find certain things within the world of the game. And I love the whole entire, it's everything what this game is able to provide. And I think that's where this game really shows off why the original game was so utterly important and why it was the pinnacle of the immersive sim, other than like the original Thief games or like Prey 2017 or BioShock. But I think that's where it's the passion of these games and showing off, and this game showing off its true potential of working on a better engine than Unity. Because I understand that when it came to the Unity engine in the first place for this game, I know that they were having some troubles with the engine, and that's why they literally had to rework from the ground up and utilizing this game to have a much better engine. Like I said before, using the Unreal Engine, using the Unreal Engine, and that's where this game really does a magnificent job in all fronts. I think it really it just does a really much better job. I think they were able to fully capitalize the engine to the utmost and showing this game off in better 3D rendering, better fluidity in terms of combat. It's everything of what this engine was able to provide for the System Shock remake. And I think that's where this game really does a magnificent job of what this game really does. And I really think that when it comes to System Shock remake, I'm having a blast with this. So I would say my impressions on this game so far, only after playing for 2 hours, it's astounding, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't think I never really anticipated of liking this game so much as I normally did, or much I normally do, excuse me. Because, like I said, I have played Prey 2017. I have played BioShock. I'm so used to playing those games. And yet, what I did notice is that when it comes to this remake of System Shock, it is a slower title. And what I mean by that, it's a slower game. You really do have to be on your toes. You really do have to be tactile to a certain degree. Because while this game does play like Prey 2017, and while it does play like BioShock, because while you don't have plasmids, but it does have some of that BioShock feel. It does have some of that Prey aesthetic as well when it comes to its combat systems and no power aesthetic fluidity and vice versa. But this game just really shows off of what I think is what makes this game so freaking amazing and good. And I think that's where Night Dive Studios did a magnificent job of bringing one of the most pinnacle and one of the most important games back from what this game was what this game was actually able to do on the PC platform, and showing off of what the game was actually was had to have so much potential in that time in 1994. And I think bringing a game like System Shock back, whether if you're on console or on PC, it just goes to show you of how passionate Night Dive Studios. And I hate this. I don't want to. I'm not going to say I hate to say this, but as much as I love saying this, they did an awesome job. I can't wait to get more into this game, venture through the Citadel of System Shock, and bringing and just getting some of that immersive feeling to it, much like how I really felt about Prey 2017 and BioShock. And to my understanding is that they will eventually bring the System Shock 2 Enhanced Edition to consoles. I know Night Dive Studios has confirmed that, but I'm really looking forward to that if and when that game is actually going to be coming out, because I will love to play that game, because I know it's a continuation to that of System Shock or even the System Shock remake, and it'll be really, really cool to see what that game is going to look like as well. So Night Dive Studios, you guys did an excellent job here. Keep up the great work. And this is Jake from Citizen JV. Thank you for tuning in. Any comments or questions, please feel free to put them in that comment section below. And you guys have a good rest of your week.